Now, definitely, the latest results were quite anticipated of the latest week, and definitely some of the, well, our participants of the Spanish business market are definitely looking good because they show the promise that is so needed by the investors and actually even Spanish government to think about how will this market will develop further on. Considering this is depression time and we are definitely not in the best years of the economy, of Spanish economy, what we see is that with this level of competition, the market development index is changing and definitely for the better. Naturally, as the consumption grows, the products, the sales of the products are increasing, and the quality of the goods sold in Spain is getting higher. So are the taxes paid are actually bigger. Considering that the workplaces, new workplaces are created and the, as mentioned, taxes are getting bigger, taxes paid overall is getting bigger, overall economy looks better and more promising. Naturally, the question is, how will the government react as well, and will they, well, invest into the fresh businesses that need support at this hard time or not? Interesting part is that if we take a look at the our participants and we see what is happening right now in the market, specifically with the ones with the professionals, we see that overall profit per turn is definitely looking good. We see that certain companies that are investing a lot, like Z-Tech or the Ana Corporation, are actually already on the profitable track. Not big though, but still quite promising, which means even though their most probably cash is starting to run out already, they still are getting certain profits. And revenues means that they have the power to sell. The question is, do they have the competency to actually and well, belief and good plans and plans of actions to actually make this happen and end the whole season of these 2 months in a profit? Good question, huh? We'll see how it goes. We'll see if that profit will be, well, that interesting to the government to actually to maintain these market players and to push on the market as it is. Here we can see that the revenues, there are two big players, actually three big players amongst the professionals, that there are ACM Wave and the Honor Corporation as well as Z-Tech, and with their revenues definitely over 1 million, which is a great job, definitely. We see that the numbers are looking very, very good. The cumulative revenue as well, and finally profit per turn, however, well, is not that promising to ACM Wave. But compared to the last turn where it was over 1 million loss, we see now that that 1 million has been definitely removed from the costs and most probably optimized, which is already a very good sign. How it will work on and how it will be developed later on, we shall see. It's a very good question, and most probably my colleague already told you that, well, probably at the end of this week and the start of next week, when we will see the results of the actions of the participants, we will be able to see what direction is the market heading. Will the participants of the market be able to survive in this competitive and challenging environment or not is the main question. As mentioned before, managing the cash properly is of the critical essence. Managing the expenditures, the growth has to be very well calculated. You can't just rush in so drastically, considering that the buying power of the Spanish market is not that high. Therefore, proper quality and price combination and flexible pricing has to be applied, and you have to be ready to fight for every consumer that comes into your store. Have to be careful there. And literally calculate every cent, every penny you're spending on your customers. And take a consideration that return on investment is one of the key things that investors all over the world calculate. Now, surely, we see that it's a very interesting position, and the wavering results do show a lot of promise. How it will be at the end, we will see. Now let's take a look at the amateurs. Now what we see here is that there are certain promises, promising results from the UCV company. And if we take a look at the profits for the last week, we see that actually there are two companies that all look pretty much good. One, they really have, well, even though small ones, but still profits, which are not that well definitely met in this league, but the revenues are actually looking good as well. However, if we compare UCV with Molka, we would actually see that even though the revenues for UCV being smaller, their profit share is obviously higher, and the reason is most probably due to the proper cost management, or will even be a bit a better one. You will see that cumulative revenue, even though is smaller, but the profit, or well, overall loss is smaller. We can actually compare these two companies just in order to see how well they're doing and what are they doing. Well, we see that the initial business structure is still the same. It's intact and nothing has changed, even though the sizes actually from Molka are bigger. Certainly the stores are growing, which does show certain potential, but also bigger costs. And naturally trying to sell more products. I would definitely question the possibility to mix the categories as well here. And naturally here the UCV is trying different mixes. Well, definitely probably I would recommend increasing the stores and trying to increase the amount of goods sold, which in this case with food is the core essence, in order if you want to, well, literally gain more, what you need to is increase the volume of the sales. Advertising is a very good thing to attract even more visitors. If you don't, think about it, maybe that's a good possibility. Now, what it will be in the end in the Amateurs League, we'll see. But so far we see that Molka Trade is actually, and UCV Company are getting back. But considering the overall performance, we can see that, well, literally, there are certain companies that, even though small, they're still looking good. For example, 1000 Cell Unlimited or Dot. Well, Dot is been around here for some time and still trying to optimize the business unit so far, but we don't see any growth. So wondering how well or fast that will happen eventually. Naturally, we see that UCV and well, Molka, I believe, is actually lower due to big loss, due to big cumulative profit, or well, loss here, and well, hopefully they will come back. So far there is no that big of a change in this market compared to the one we can see here in the Pro League. The fight here is getting more and more interesting over time. We'll see how it goes and who will be on top in the end. As mentioned, wait for the beginning of the new week, because we are waiting for very big news, both for the government and investors from the Spanish market, of the Spanish country, and the investors that are interested in Spanish markets. That might actually give you a lot of new opportunities in business. I wish you good luck. I will see you next week. Work hard and try to optimize the business that you have. You never know what kind of possibilities awaits right behind the corner. Good luck and see you next week.